The pre-dynastic period in Egypt, also known as the pre-dynastic era, refers to the time before the establishment of the first dynasty around 3100 BCE. This era marks the development of early Egyptian society, from the first evidence of human habitation in the Nile Valley until the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under the first pharaoh. While the period is not well documented with written records, archaeological findings offer valuable insight into the social, cultural, and technological progress that laid the foundation for the ancient Egyptian civilization. First time frame of the pre-dynastic period. The pre-dynastic period spans a vast amount of time, from approximately 500,000 BCE when early humans first arrived in Egypt, to around 3100 BCE when King Narmer, also known as Men's, unified Egypt and established the first dynasty. It is generally divided into several sub-periods based on changes in the archaeological evidence, including Paleolithic, Old Stone Age, from the earliest human presence in Egypt until around 12,000 BCE. Mesolithic, Middle Stone Age, roughly 12,000 to 8,000 BCE, marked by the transition from hunting and gathering to early forms of agriculture. Neolithic, New Stone Age, from around 8,000 BCE to 3,100 BCE, characterized by more permanent settlements and the development of agriculture. 2. Human presence and early development, Paleolithic era. This period witnessed the earliest human presence in Egypt, with people living as hunter-gatherers. Evidence of their existence includes simple stone tools, such as hand axes and flint implements, found at sites like the Nile Valley and Fayoum. Humans during this period relied on the natural resources of the land, including hunting wild animals and gathering plants. Mesolithic era. This period marked a gradual shift in lifestyle. People started experimenting with semi-permanent settlements, and some began to domesticate animals such as dogs and goats. They also started the early stages of farming, growing crops like wheat and barley. Neolithic era. The most significant changes occurred in this period as people began to settle in permanent villages along the Nile River. The Neolithic saw the rise of agriculture, with Egyptians cultivating crops and domesticating livestock, including cattle, sheep, and pigs. This allowed for the development of larger, more complex communities. Additionally, this era witnessed the creation of pottery, a crucial technological advancement for storage and daily activities. Early forms of pottery found in the Nile Valley were often simple and unpainted, but eventually evolved into more complex designs. Third, development of settlements and social organization. Early pre-dynastic Egyptians lived in small, scattered communities, many of which were centered around the fertile Nile River. Over time, these settlements grew in size and complexity, leading to the development of regional chiefdoms. Some notable settlements from the pre-dynastic period include the communities at Madi and Nekhen, Hierakonpolis, which played significant roles in the cultural and political development of Egypt. The increasing reliance on agriculture and the river's flooding cycle fostered the development of specialized labor and trade, leading to more organized social structures. The most important social and political organization during this time was tribal and kin-based. However, evidence from the late pre-dynastic period shows the emergence of regional power centers, which later evolved into the early dynasties. Leaders of these centers are often referred to as chieftains or kings, and may have ruled over a single region or city-state. Fourth, technological and cultural advances. Stone tools. The early Egyptians created a variety of stone tools for hunting, farming, and domestic activities. Tools like axes, scrapers, and knives made from flint and basalt were common. Pottery. The invention of pottery was one of the most important technological advances of the pre-dynastic period. Initially, pottery was simple and functional, used for cooking, storage, and religious purposes. As time progressed, Egyptians began to decorate their pottery with geometric and symbolic designs. Architecture. During the late pre-dynastic period, Egyptians began to build more permanent structures. Evidence from this period shows the construction of mud brick homes and larger ceremonial buildings, as well as early tombs. Art and symbolism. Although the art of this period was relatively simple, it served to reflect the spiritual and social beliefs of the Egyptians. Early depictions of animals, hunting scenes, and symbolic motifs have been found on pottery and in rock carvings. 5. Religious beliefs and spirituality. Religion began to play an increasingly important role in pre-dynastic Egypt, though it was still rooted in nature worship and animism. Early religious beliefs were centered on gods and goddesses associated with natural forces such as the sun, water,